Hey, Rob from Order 42 here, and today we're going to be talking about Barry Lyndon. That's right, a 46-year-old movie directed by Stanley Kubrick. Many say that it's one of his best. Let's find out if it is. Directed by Stanley Kubrick and released in 1975, Barry Lyndon tells the story of an Irish rogue who wins the heart of a rich widow and assumes her dead husband's aristocratic position in 18th century England. The movie stars Ryan O'Neal, Marisa Berenson, Patrick Magee, and Hardy Kruger. Before we get into Barry Lyndon, I do want to give a quick shout out to Boutique Blu-rays with Elliot Cohen. It's a YouTube channel that has quickly become one of my favorites. He basically goes into some of the more rare, the harder to find Blu-rays like from Criterion or Arrow Films. It really is a fun channel, and yeah, I highly suggest you check it out. And thank you for the suggestion. Barry Lyndon is one of his favorite films, so of course, yeah, that's why we're doing this today. I do like delving into an entire filmography from a director. So if I find somebody that I like, I try to watch everything they've ever made. So for example, when I first really started getting into movies and Blu-rays and actually DVDs at the time, I watched everything that I could get my hands on. Old Steven Spielberg movies, old Robert Zemeckis movies, stuff like that. Just getting into it and finding out more about these directors that I really like. So in this case, Stanley Kubrick is one that I revisit from time to time. I get into it and I say, you know what? I haven't watched this one. Let's just watch it, right? And this was one that I'd never watched. I don't really have a reason why, but I mean, I've seen most of his movies. I will say that it's a beautiful movie. It's almost got a painterly sort of ideal to it. So it's like when you're watching it, hit pause on your Blu-ray and you could print that and it's beautiful, right? The whole movie is shot just masterfully well. But there's a problem with that. It's hard to say whether the actors are really giving everything they've got just because the story and the way that things play out, and I'm sure it's the direction, they're basically told to hold back. And what that does is it gives me sort of a detachment from the characters. And it's a weird thing where it's almost like, yeah, you're not meant to get like emotionally involved with these people. Just sit back, relax, and watch it. And let the film just wash over you. And it's a weird thing because it's hard to really get invested in any of the characters. It's so detached, right? You're so detached from the characters. There's times when some very traumatic events happen and they barely emote. They barely even crack a smile. They barely show any happiness or sadness. It's only a couple of scenes where it's almost like Kubrick is saying, yeah, you can go ahead and cry now. Or you can go ahead and smile and laugh and show some happiness. It's it's really rather strange. It's funny, while I was watching this, April came in and she was like, what is this movie about? I've walked through here a couple of times and I don't really understand what's going on." And I said, "Well, I will tell you. It's a beautifully shot movie about a douche." I mean, it's kind of weird. That's what the movie's about. Roger Ebert said in his review, he said, "How many directors would have had Kubrick's confidence in taking this ultimately inconsequential story of a man's rise and fall and realizing it in a style that dictates our attitude towards it?" I mean, I don't know if I could have said it any better. It's such a strange thing. It's like, I don't know. I guess it's pretentious in a way, but I also couldn't take my eyes off of it. So, yeah. Technically, this movie is fantastic, especially for 1975. And I learned after watching the movie that Kubrick used natural light in every scene that he could. There's only a few scenes where he's using some artificial light, but it is beautiful to look at. Like I said, it's you're not going to have a problem there. It's sort of commonplace for the time. In the 70s, they used the zoom lens a lot. Well, the zoom lens is used all the time in this movie. I mean, it is all over it. But I have to say, like I said, it's gorgeous, gorgeous to look at. Another one of the things I learned after watching the movie is that this had a 300-day shooting schedule. Yeah, that's 10 months. I can't I can't even imagine that. I can't. I mean, that's just insane to me. And the other thing is that the movie, I mean, for the time, a $12 million budget, that's a lot. That's a lot of money for that period of time. And unfortunately, it only made $20 million in the US. So yeah, it didn't do too well. I mean, if you think about it, the mid 70s were a lot like today as far as like the kinds of movies that people were interested in seeing. The top movies of 1975 were Jaws and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense that a movie like Barry Lyndon probably wouldn't have lit up the box office. It's hard to know how to feel about this. I mean, because while I enjoy, like I said, delving into a director's filmography, you know, you watch a movie like this and you feel like he's almost daring you to like it. You know what I'm saying? And for its 3 hour runtime, I'm sitting there and I'm going, I mean, like I'm into it, I'm watching it, but I have to switch that gear on. You know, there's a different kind of mode or the different kind of mood even that you have to be into to watch a 3 hour movie where not a lot happens. So yeah, Barry Lyndon. I mean, is it pretentious? Maybe. Is it masterful? Quite probably. Is it beautiful? Absolutely. I mean, it's just hard for me to it's hard for me to score this any lower than a 3, you know, 3 out of 4 stars because I honestly kind of enjoyed it even with all the issues that I had with it, that my almost inability to identify with any of these characters. There was something about it that just made me feel like I'm watching art here, you know? I would say if you're like me, you know, and you like kind of delving into a director's entire filmography, or if you just like beautifully shot, technically wonderful movies, then yeah, I would definitely say this is for you. For everyone else, you're not gonna like it. You know, there's a lot of classics out there, right? And lately I've been kind of, I gotta be honest, I'm tired of the same kind of editing style, the same sort of storytelling, almost beat for beat. You know, movies are just kind of going through the motions, you know, and it's kind of nice, at least from my perspective, to watch a movie that's got a different feel to it, a different look to it, you know, and it, you know, basically like a different idea of what a good movie is. So yeah, if you agree with all those things, then yeah, Barry Lyndon is something you should check out. I think if you're into Kubrick, it's a must watch. It's an absolute must watch. So I know Barry Lyndon is not for everybody, but I'm kind of curious what you think. You know, if you've seen it, let me know down below what you think of it. I mean, do you think that it's Kubrick's finest movie ever? You know, do you think it's the work of a master, and we should all bow to the brilliance of Stanley Kubrick? I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's not my favorite Kubrick movie for sure. 2001 by far is my favorite Kubrick movie. So yeah, that's just my opinion. But let me know down below what you think, and thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.